Ready to shine inside out? Welcome to Polished Beauty Podcast, where ambition meets empowerment. We talk business, beauty, brain, body. I am your host, Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN. Let's get polished. So it's mid-year report, and I'm doing a Polished Beauty Podcast episode on the portfolio nobody talks about. When you hear the word portfolio, what comes in mind? Assets, investments, real estate, diversification of money, right? International investments, stocks, bonds, along the line of financial literacy. That's what you're thinking of when you hear the word portfolio. But you know what? Portfolio isn't just your lifestyle. It is bigger than that. It's your purpose. It's everything you do. It's basically your identity, your legacy. It's who you are, who you're going to become, and who you are becoming. I have so much to say about this because when I started Polished Beauty Podcast about 2 years ago, it was a very simple concept that took me 4 years to manifest it. And it was basically how to bring my practice online for my patients to educate and inform. And on this episode, the reason why I wanted to talk about portfolio is because I, as a board certified OBGYN for over 2 decades, have dealt with so many women. I've been caring women on all walks of life, the ones that go through pregnancy, through menopause, through GYN problems, or just regular consultation visit that becomes a life coaching experience, or cosmetic surgery, wellness. I have done so much in this transition for many women, and I have come to believe something completely different when I talk about portfolio and who you are. Your greatest portfolio has never been your financial portfolio. It's literally what you're building. That is your portfolio. And it could be simple as your family structure, your family goals, your career goals, your health goals, whatever goals you have. That is the portfolio. So I wanted to reroute the mind from a financial standpoint to other things. And just like any portfolio, right? Assets appreciate and depreciate. So if you have a portfolio, which you do, there are things that appreciate and there are things that depreciate. And you have to constantly move around it and know how to basically offload some things that becomes a liability and unload or put things that becomes an asset to you. Now, let's talk about appreciation and depreciation because those two things are so valuable that if you don't understand it, you literally are going to end up in a position where when you get to your 50s, you're surprised. The question you always have to ask yourself is this: is your health appreciating with this or not? Is your confidence appreciating with this or not? Are your relationships appreciating with it or not? And is your peace appreciating with it or not? And finally, is your earning power appreciating or not? Those things, you need to answer those questions for yourself for you to really get a better insight into your portfolio and what you're building. So there are 5 assets that I think every woman should have before they turn 50. That's really the essence of this topic. The 5 assets that I think you need to have and in place before 50. Let's just get to the first one, your health. Every great portfolio begins with your health because your health is a foundation. And so before turning 50, there's some things that you need to do for yourself as a woman. You need to have a gynecologic visit. You need to have the recommendations on that visit in place. And usually you start your pap smear screening at 21. You need to have your pregnancy calendar if there's something that you want in mind. You need to have your gynecologic care in order. You just need to have that relationship with your gynecologist before you turn 50 because you're going to need her, especially above 50. And, I can't talk about health without talking about muscle and weightlifting and metabolic health. So your health is in the context of more than just a gynecology appointment. It's about your wellness, your assets in the health space. Now, let's talk about the next one, your mind. I take a deep breath because one of the things you'll notice as you get older is that you become forgetful, your memory is not as great, and you just are moving through life with the feeling of am I having dementia or early onset memory loss? You're not. So you want to have that in order before you turn 50. And some of the things to do to have your mind in order are setting boundaries. You have to set boundaries when you're younger to people, relationships, work, anything. You just have to set boundaries. What are the boundaries? It can be something simple like, you know what? I need to have one day of rest, and my rest day is Sunday or Saturday. And on this day, I am not going to engage in anything that depletes me of my energy. That is setting boundaries, and that's also helping your mind because you become a habit of creature by repeating things over and over. So that's a good way. Boundaries, understanding when you burn out, learning, choosing to learn a lot or reading or something that will stimulate your cognition or your cognitive health. That is part of building your mind. And then just having good emotional resilience and being able to be tapered. And so you're not fluctuating up and down with things that happen in your life. And then lastly, which is a big one right now, protecting your attention. We are at war with competing with attention. Everything wants your attention. So if you can protect your attention, you're definitely helping your mind. The third thing that every woman needs to have, asset-wise, before she turns 50 is her appearance. This is not a vanity thing. I've spoken so much about appearance and professionalism and just scaling a lot in this podcast. So this is not about vanity. This is purely about identity, presentation, confidence, and basically telling others how to see you, respect you, or interact with you. So you set the tone with your appearance. Like I said, appearance isn't about impressing strangers at all. It's about honoring yourself, recognizing that every time you look in the mirror, you like what you see and you appreciate what you see. And more importantly, it is who you are. And there's no mismatch in that mirror and what you see and what you think. So your appearance is your third thing. The other thing to really focus on before you turn 50 is wealth. And here I'm going to talk about more than just money. Yes, money is inclusive in this talk because you should not shy away from money. You need money to do anything in this world. So money is part of it. But the wealth is really about creating opportunity that allows you to have freedom. Your freedom to travel, freedom to exist, freedom to sleep, freedom to work or not. So that's part of wealth management or wealth assets that I think you need to have before 50. And so you have to be very intelligent making choices prior to that so that those choices can pivot into something that's wealthy for you. And so this is where your entrepreneurial spirit comes in, and also learning how to invest and protect your investment and your earning abilities. The last thing I wanted to talk about is purpose. Every woman before 50 should have this asset, a purpose, a clear purpose of where you're going with your life. What do you want to achieve for your life, or just a basic direction, right? Because some may have all of that before 50. There's still some women approaching 50 and they feel like they're still 22. That's okay. But you need to have a purpose, because a purpose is going to influence your direction and mold you into the path that you're destined to be your greatest self. Now, I mention all of this because I think it's one of those things where if you're not careful in your 20s and 30s, you get so deep in hustle and bustle, trying to put things together, which you're supposed to, because that's the time where things are not really falling in place for most people. But you can do all of that, and the next thing you know, you open your eyes and you're 51. It really happens that fast. Maybe not literally, but you get the point, right? So having all those things in place before 50 is so valuable to you, and you are not going to regret it, my friend. You're not going to regret it. So this episode is a prelude to me taking a break from the summer from recording this episodes in Polished Beauty Podcast. This will be the last episode for the month of July so that I can recover, rest, and return back in August in full swing. But before I conclude this episode, I wanted to say that the wealthiest women I know aren't simply accumulating more. They're not. They're being very intentional, appreciating what they have. But more than that, their health gets stronger, their vision gets better, their brain becomes clearer because they are learning to be intentional with all those things I mentioned, their time, their energy, their wealth, their appearance, very intentional. Okay. My hope for you is that you look back in your life 10 years from now and you really appreciate some of the things you did to set up yourself for your 50s. Because there's nothing worse than getting to your 50th decade and you are not completely settled. Now, there are some really big celebrities that started life or businesses in their 40s and 50s, and they're like multi-billion-dollar industry. That is true. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is for the vast majority, by the time you get to 50, if you don't have those things in place, you are going to feel left behind. If that's you, start doing something about it. So as I step away for this summer, short break, very short, I want to leave you with one challenge. Audit your portfolio. Remember what I said, what a portfolio was in the beginning. I want you to audit it, not your finances, but your life. I want you to dissect it, shred it, throw it away, pick it up, put it back together, look at it from every angle, top and bottom. Okay. And ask yourself a very honest question. So simple, but you got to ask yourself this question. Which parts of me are appreciating? Checkbox, 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 or no checkbox? And which parts of me deserve more intentional movement? Meaning that you've identified where you need to grow and you focus on that more, right? As I mentioned before, I'll see you after the break. I also need a break and I'm going to be turning 50 very shortly. I'm excited about this potential upcoming in my life, which will happen a good 7 months from now. It's not right now, maybe a year from now. Whatever the case, I'll be back in August. I hope to leave you with this episode to just take a deeper dive into your portfolio, which is your life, and see what needs to be upgraded, thrown out, polished. All right. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for listening. Video recording of this episode will be featured on our YouTube channel, Dr. Daisy Ayim. We are also found on Instagram at Polish Beauty Podcast or at Dr. Daisy Ayim. Remember, new episodes drop every Wednesday, so stay tuned. Please like, share, follow.